New Commanders head coach Dan Quinn has officially released his first unofficial depth chart for the 2024 season just in time before the Commanders play the New York Jets in their preseason opener this weekend on Saturday. And speaking of that game, we are going to be going live right here on the channel. Again, it is a morning day game, actually. I believe it starts at 12 or noon Eastern time, so we'll be going live for that. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel because we are going live for every single preseason game this year and then most of the regular season games for the Washington Commanders. It's going to be a ton of fun on here. Got hundreds of people in the chat cheering on the Commanders. It's going to be so much fun, man. So if you're ready to raise some hell with us right here live on the Commanders Report, make sure you click that subscribe button and turn on your notifications. So let's get into this depth chart released by new head coach Dan Quinn, and he listed Jayden Daniels as the #1 quarterback on the depth chart. He will start this weekend's game against the Jets. Marcus Mariota listed as #2, Jeff Driscoll listed as the #3, and then Sam Hartman, the undrafted free agent out of Notre Dame, is listed as the 4. This is what Dan Quinn had to say before practice today about why he put Jayden Daniels in the QB1 spot. He said, I had high expectations coming in, but he's definitely surpassed even my expectations of the readiness, the command. I knew he was going to be cool, knowing the system, like he's just got that way about him, but you do see the other players gravitate towards him. Then we get to the running backs here, and then you got Brian Robinson Jr. listed above Austin Eckler as the #1 running back. Chris Rodriguez Jr. slides in there as the #3. Then McNichols, Wiley, and Jones are your reserves at 4, 5, and 6. Then a little bit interesting here on the wide receiver depth chart, Olamide Zaccheaus is actually listed as the #2 receiver over Jahan Dotson, a former first-round pick. So obviously, Cliff Kingsbury, Dan Quinn, and the rest of this Commanders staff have a lot of confidence in Zaccheaus' ability to be a good and very productive member of this wide receiver core this year. De'Ami Brown is listed as the 4, Luke McCaffrey as the 5, and then Jamison Crowder as the 6. Tremaine, Allen, and Tinsley are more of the reserve types there. Then we get to the tight end. Zach Ertz is listed as the #1 tight end. John Bates follows him up at #2. The rookie Ben Sinnott and then Armani Rogers are listed as co-tight end 3s, so it seems like those guys are going to be battling it out quite a bit as well. Then we also have co-tight end 5s in Cole Turner and Colson Yankoff. The fact that Cole Turner is that far down the depth chart, by the way, I do not think bodes well for him to make the final roster at the end of the day. Then we get to the offensive line, and Brandon Coleman, the rookie offensive tackle out of TCU, was listed as the starting left tackle for this week's game. Dan Quinn talked about how he was super impressed with him heading into training camp this year. He's really had a good start to camp, which is very, very encouraging. They get Nick Allegretti at left guard, Tyler Biotish, or Badass, whatever you prefer, at center, Sam Cosmi at right guard, and Andrew Wiley at right tackle. The backups are Cornelius Lucas, Chris Paul, Michael Dieter, Julian Good-Jones, and Trent Scott. So when it comes to Brandon Coleman here, do you trust him as the starting left tackle to protect Jayden Daniels' blind side? Let me know what you guys think for today's pinned comment by giving me a yes or a no. YouTube's going to throw you an ad break here in just a couple of seconds, and when that happens, take advantage of that time by giving me a yes or a no. My answer as to whether I trust Brandon Coleman heading into this year is I really want to. I really want to see how Coleman looks in a live game situation. We should see quite a bit of him on Saturday. That's going to be something that we're going to be talking about a lot on this weekend's watch party, is how Brandon Coleman is looking out there. I'm hoping that he can really prove to us that he can be that legit starting left tackle this year in his first year as a National Football League professional left tackle. Really want to believe in him. He had kind of a really tough Senior Bowl. He had a really tough senior season there at TCU. He's got the physical tools that you look for, but the tape wasn't all that good last year, so I am skeptical of Brandon Coleman. You guys know that if you've watched the show, but Dan Quinn speaks extremely highly of him and how he's performed in practices, so I'm willing to give him a shot. Now, coming up here on the Commanders Report, we go on to the defensive depth chart, and there's a lot of very interesting things on this side of the ball to discuss. But before we get into it, let's have a word from our sponsor here at Game Game Time, which is the fastest and easiest way to buy tickets for the sports, music, comedy, and theater in your area. With killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their lowest price guarantee on any ticket to any event, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying tickets to whatever event you choose. And what I love about Game Time, guys, is they have the lowest price guarantee on any ticket to any event. It's the only ticketing app you need on your phone because you know their tickets are guaranteed to be the lowest price. Then also, you can even get lower price tickets if you're somebody like me and likes to get tickets last minute, because Game Time has flash deals, which mean the longer you wait to the start of your event, the lower the prices go, which is absolutely fantastic. And another great feature is that it's all-in pricing on the Game Time app, so you don't get slapped with crazy fees at checkout. That is the most annoying thing on these ticketing apps. Don't have to deal with it on Game Time. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time today. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS. That's one word, all caps, CHATSPORTS. It's right down there in the bottom of your screen right now for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS. That's one word, all caps, CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Then we get to the defensive line here, and you get Dorrance Armstrong and Cleveland Ferrell listed as your starting defensive ends. Allen and Payne, of course, is your starting duo on the interior. KJ Henry and Javonte Jean-Baptiste move, the seventh-round pick is going to be kind of the first guy behind Cleveland Ferrell on the depth chart this year. John Ridgeway and Johnny Newton listed as the backup defensive tackles right now. Looks like Fedarian Mathis is starting to be put down the totem pole a bit, but here's interesting, man. Dante Fowler Jr. is listed not as a defensive end, but as an outside linebacker, and he is listed as a starter here along with Frankie Louvu, and Jamin Davis is listed as a backup. So that's definitely interesting. I do think that Davis will definitely have a role in this defense. He's going to be rotating in for sure. But it's definitely interesting to me that Dante Fowler Jr., not Jamin Davis, is listed on this first unofficial depth chart from the head coach Dan Quinn himself. Then we get to the middle linebackers here. Bobby Wagner, as usual, he's going to be listed as that Mike there, the middle linebacker. Then Jordan McGee, the rookie out of Temple, is listed as his backup, and Michael Walker is listed as the third guy in the room. Then we get to the strong safeties here. Jeremy Chin, starting strong safety. Derek Forrest listed as a strong safety. Played more as a free safety in the Ron Rivera, Jack Del Rio type system. I thought he'd probably be listed as a free safety, but kind of a weird one there that Forrest is listed as a strong safety. He's got the size and the playmaking to play a good strong safety. I think this is pretty interesting. Then we get to Dominique Hampton, who is the third strong safety, and then Ben Nickel finishes out the group. Then at free safety, your starting free safety, Quan Martin has apparently overtaken Derek Forrest as the other starting safety on this football team, and I'm all for it. I think that Quan Martin was brought in here for a reason. Obviously, a different regime drafted him, but I really liked him coming out of Illinois. I thought he was a really good player. I think he's going to make a really good free safety for this football team. Jeremy Reeves listed as a free safety. That's different than what Jack Del Rio and Ron Rivera designated him as in years past. Percy Butler listed as the third free safety, and then Tyler Owens rounds out the group at number 4. Now, before we get into the rest of the ones today, make sure you go ahead and click that thumbs up icon if you're pumped for Saturday. We're going to be live here on the channel. Again, make sure you click that subscribe button and make this video the best it can be by clicking that thumbs up icon for me right now. Then we get to the cornerbacks here. Lots of very interesting storylines. Mike Sainristil was the first cornerback listed on this depth chart. Now, they've been playing him at slot corner in these practices. So even though he's listed as the number 1 corner, I think that's because he's the only guy that is perfectly slated to be a starter this year. I think that they feel really good that Sainristil is their starting slot. And then right now, there's a whole bunch of people competing for the other 2 outside cornerback spots. Right now on this unofficial depth chart, Emmanuel Forbes is listed as the CB5. I mean, goodness gracious, first round pick last year, getting a lot of first round reps in practices, listed as the CB5 behind Benjamin St-Juste, Michael Davis, and Noah Igbenogany. Tariq Castro-Fields is also in the mix here. So Forbes seems like he needs to get going a little bit. Like, this is not a good sign if you were hoping that Emmanuel Forbes was going to have a breakout sophomore season in the league for him to be put down in this depth chart with the kind of depth that the Commanders have at this position right now. Then, of course, what the moment you've all been waiting for, guys, the special teams. Ramiz Ahmed is listed above the newly signed kicker Riley Patterson. Of course, that can change. That's going to be a competition here in camp. And then Tress Way, the punter, and Tyler Ott, the all-world long snapper there, rounds out the group. So let me know down there in the comment section. We talked about a lot today, but what was the biggest surprise in today's depth chart released by new head coach Dan Quinn? For me personally, guys, Emmanuel Forbes, CB5, that was a big surprise to me. Dante Fowler Jr. listed as a starter over Jamin Davis. That was a pretty big surprise to me, but let me know what you guys think down there in the comments section. What was your takeaway from today's depth chart? And make sure you guys click that subscribe button. Again, we are going to be going live on Saturday, but we're also going to go live on Thursday for the Commanders Report live show that we have every week starting at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. We've got a bunch of great Commanders content coming your way, getting you guys ready for the 2024 season. So do me a favor, click that subscribe button right now.